might take just a little bit before it finally gets to the room, but we should be live. And when I see it on my screen that I am up and chatting, I will start singing the wonderful song that I know that should happen. Here we go. Okay, turn on the torch, light up the flame. Time to melt some glass, my friends. Here you are. There I am to explain, to teach, and create again. Or first of all, I said you. Here, there you are. Here I am. Never mind. Okay. Welcome to Melting Memories. This is Lucian Libby, and I've got a couple of co-stars going on. There's David Gahhruuba. Is that how you pronounce it? Gahhruuba. And the other one with the thumbs up in the corner, in the corner of my of the room there is Brian, and David is in the room twice, one for the headphones and one for the camera. So we will go with that. And the other person, Brian, is my son. He's in Michigan, and I'm down here in North Carolina. So this is sort of like a visitation visit at the same time. But he said it'd be nice, and if he's not nice, he knows what I'm going to have to do. Poor kid. But with that, let us start the torch and light the flame. It looks like Dave's already a little bit ahead of the game. He's got the torch going. One of the things I wanted to mention to people is I said something about a giveaway for a marble mold, and this is what it's going to be. It's going to happen in the next couple of days. I'm going to give, since I've got 300 subscribers, I'm going to actually go to 400 guesses, and I'll do a computer generated from 1 to 400, and I will put that in the my Facebook page, actually on Torch Talk Facebook page, and with that, you get to guess one number for this and another number for. I'm going to give away about, I'd say, a quarter pound of dichroic glass. I don't know, this is a little bit more than that, but I will pitch it out and make sure that you guys get a little bit of variety and sparkly glittery, and it's mainly not high quality chunks, but it's the stuff that I use, and you see what I get out of my dichroic. This is, I've got to calm down. I'm so excited everybody is either there or not there. Now, first thing on the list, we are going to do not a sea turtle. We did a turtle in the last show with Renee Shepard and her husband Lauren. And this time we're going to go on that variation, and I would love to see what you guys come up with on the web page. Maybe that's part of the no, I won't be that mean to say that you had to come up with a snail to get into the drawings. That'll be me. But we'll see what we can do. Now, without further ado, I'm going to light up my torch and get some flame going. So yeah, you guys can see me quite nicely in my mirror here. Now, let's light some torches. He's already got his going. Let's get mine going. There we are. Okay, Dave, what type of glass do you have on hand? Clear color. What color would you like to make the shell for your snail?
Let's see. I got some paparazzi. Got a couple other darker ones.
Like a blue, a green, a nice snail color. I'm going to make mine in clear. If you'd like to do it in clear first and then practice and then get good, that'll be fine.
Yeah.
First, we're going to do, again, the round ball. That's going to be the shell to the snail.
Okay.
Let's get there. Actually, you know what? I've got to put my glasses on. I've got my didymians on, but I also got to get my glasses on so I can see better up to the screen in front of me, so I can keep a hand on what you're doing too. You're going to be on the main screen at the moment, Dave.
Sounds good.
Looks like we don't have too many people saying hi, but that's okay if they're in the room. This is mainly a class to teach you anyway, Dave. People in the room is just a beauty, I guess you could say, or forethought. Now, what you need to do is make a round ball, probably about a ½ an inch to a ¼ inch, depending upon the size of the snail you want to make.
Yep.
And again, it'll be about the same size as the turtle, but again, in a little bit different direction.
Alrighty.
When you think you've got enough of a nice round ball for the turtle, I want to say turtle, the snail, we'll go from there.
Alright, I'm about there.
Okay. See, I've got a nice round ball going on, and that's going to be the snail for the seed, for the shell for the snail. We'll get there. Yes, that'll be good. Round it in a little bit more. You can see what, make it tilted downward. You've got it tilted sideways. It's more, no, tilt it the other way. Other way. Yeah, there you go. Like this downward. I think downward when I'm talking the actual rod you got in your hand. When I say tilted up, I meant the end of the rod that you got. Yeah, that's logistics. I got to understand, and I know it, but I need to explain it to others. I'm sorry, Dave.
That's fine.
Let me look. Yeah, I think it's doing pretty good. Nice round ball.
Yep.
That'll do. Yeah, tilt it downward like that and let it sort of make it more of a round. That's good. Now, we're going to heat up one side at a time. We're going to warm up right about where I'm pointing right here, and then we're going to heat and twist it, and that's going to give the swirl look to the snail shell. Okay?
Okay.
Here we go. Heat it up. It gets nice orange. You touch a cold weld and twist. And we didn't quite get there. Let me try it again one more time. The cold weld came off before I finished the twist. You touch it and twist it. And as you twist it, it gives it a nice swirl pattern going on inside the shell. But you only need to heat up just half of the snail shell. You don't need to heat up the whole shell. Okay?
Yep.
Now, we good so far? Take it out of the flame to touch and twist. You don't do it inside the flame.
Yeah, mine broke off. How much of a twist are we going for?
Just a nice little swirl pattern. It's to give the impression of a swirl like the snail shell. It doesn't have to be a tight, but it'll come in handy.
Alright, just let me pull this down a little here.
Now take it out of the flame, touch, and twist it. There you go. See there? Now let it cool, and then bend it back and forth, and it should come right out of there. There you go. Now, we're going to do the same thing to the other side. But the trick is, you're not going to twist it in the same direction that you just did. You're going to twist it in the opposite direction so that the snail shell is going like this. You're if you understand the principle. And you just twisted it, whatever direction you just twisted it in. With mine, I did clockwise, so now I'll have to do on the other side counterclockwise twist, okay?
All right, I got
Whatever
you.
side that you did, whatever way you went, which looked like you went
Clockwise.
also. So now you got to do counterclockwise. Now you're going to heat up just the outside to the other side of the shell. Get it nice and orange. You take it out of the flame, and now you're going to twist it in the counterclockwise position. Let it cool, bring it off, and there you go. Yeah, that's exactly the way it's looking good so far. Now we're going to put a cold weld. This is going to be the top of the shell, right here at the top of the. That's going to be the top of the shell, and we're going to put a cold weld at the top of the shell.
Yep.
And I'm going to do that right now. And I'm heating up the punte, not the glass, not the snail. Leave the snail out of the flame for a little bit.
All right.
That's part of a good cold weld. You're only heating up one of them. You're heating up the punte, giving it a little bit of time, take it and touch it too, and that'll just hold on to that snail, and it didn't tap off there later. Okay? You got to make sure it's a nice orange to clear cold weld. Anyway, now you can go underneath it, and the underneath is where we, down at the bottom of the base. And you're going to go about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch, and that's going to be the base for the snail shell, so that it can, sort of stand on its own after the fact. Again, it's a little bit like the derby for the snail shell. I mean the turtle shell, but just a little bit different. Okay. And all we're going to do now is add a head and a tail and some antennae to this thing, and you've got a done deal practically.
Kind of like that.
Yes. Now keep heating it just a little bit more, and now we're going to flatten that down onto the graphite. Okay.
Yep.
And press. You don't have to press really, really hard, but just press it, and that gives you the base for your snail shell. Good deal. That'll work. Now, you pick the direction that you want the turtle head to go in, and I think it's usually pick one direction from the snail shell. And I want to say either or, it doesn't matter. It'll still look nice. And you can figure it out as you go along which way you'd like it better. So you got this going in, yeah. You got the snail in your left hand?
It's in the right hand.
Okay, switch it over to the left hand. There you go. Now, one thing that I try to tell people is, you take it out of the flame for a second. What I have in my right hand is the pencil, and what I have in the left hand I call the paper. And I always sort of add to the paper with the pencil. Now, if you're left-handed, it's reverse of that. In other words, your hand that you draw with or write with is going to be your pencil hand, and the hand that you have the glass usually in is the paper hand, is what I call it. And that sort of gave me a direction to go in and understand that you're drawing in 3 dimensions, okay? And as you draw in 3 dimensions, you just, again, pencil and paper. Now, here we go.
I'm gonna clear off this end right here quick.
Yeah, you can do that. I'll let you. Now you pick a front and a back, and you can choose probably the direction toward which the swirl went to would be a good direction for the head, is what I usually do. Okay? And then I heat up just at the base of the snail shell on the rim of the thing that we made for the base, and make sure it's an orange to orange weld. Orange is the color that you want to see when you're putting the two pieces together. That you're not sticking one piece of glass to another. You're fusing and making one piece of glass after you put the two together. That's the main part of this. And yes, it may take a little bit more time to get that going, but it's going to make it worth it. Then,
All right, and then you wanted it down by the part where I marvered.
huh?
You want the head down by the place that I marvered.
Yes, down at the place where you marker.
Yeah.
Make a nice fuse going on there. Looks like we had 2 or 3 people in here for a minute. They back down to us, all that's in here. That's okay. It's mainly about us. Now, once you get those two together, tell me.
Alright, got it.
Okay, now go a little bit further down the neck of the turtle, probably about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. Heat and sort of bend it up toward the top of the snail shell, and then let it cool a little bit, and then heat and cool it off just a little bit beyond where you made that next little bend forward. You're sort of doing a right angle up and then a right angle out, just a little bit. Here's what you're looking for. See that?
Yep. I'd have to fix in here.
Of course. Give me just a second. I'm doing a live demo right now. Give me about another half hour, 45 minutes, and if you wanted to go do the grocery thing, we can do that, okay? Okay, yeah, I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call shortly, okay? I'm doing a live teaching show right now. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. How you doing? You got the head on there yet?
Just about.
All right, looking good. Now, warm that whole thing up a little bit because we've been taking our time doing this, and you'll get better at it. You'll be able to do this in about 3 to 5 minutes. You should be able to once you're not having. This is something you've never done before, and if you can imagine trying to spell a word that you've never spelled before, you know a little bit of the alphabet that you need to use, and it's just putting it in the right order at the right times, okay?
Yep.
So you're doing really well. The whole thing up. Now we're going to put some antennae on this, and what that is basically is we're going to touch to both sides of his head, and we're going to make very long, elongated eyes, like stringers going on, okay?
Yeah.
But it's going to be about 1/4 of an inch to, well, if you wanted to get exaggerated, you could go 1/8 of an inch long. Later on, you can put color on the end of it for the eyes itself, okay? But here we go. We touch to one side, touch two, and just pull out. And I usually pull up, and then go a little bit forward and burn it off. And then to the other side of the head, I try to keep the other side that I just did outside of the flame. Heat up, touch, pull it up, go about that 1/4 of an inch, and pull it off. Again, you're sort of like making a little stringer on his head. Oh, that's looking good. I can see it from here. Just make sure that, yeah, looking good. Again, later on, you could add little dots of color to the ends of those things for eyes, and give it some. You can use color for the shell and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Now the tail, of course, it's going to go on the back side of where we've been belting for the head. And we heat up. I don't know how I did it, but I did it a little bit cattywampus. We'll get there. Matter of fact, I'll fix it right now. Somehow I did the head off to one side. With the tail going in the right direction, and I'll fix the head real quick. Now the tail I usually do basically like the head, but coming out to a nice little point for the tail itself.
Alright.
And it looks basically like that. Very good. I usually tip it up just slightly, but you don't have to. That looks good as is, come to think of it. I'm going to warm in and nudge the head a little bit too off. Somehow I did it off to the side, but it's no big deal.
Alright. Yeah, I gotta fix one of these antennas. They got a little too big.
Wonky, too big. Yeah, just heat it up and pull a little bit more of it out. That's all. Yep, I just did that. That was looking good. Have you done much with fuming, Dave?
I've tried silver, but it always ends up just splattering everywhere.
Okay.
I don't really get too much for color into it.
Yeah, we'll work on that later too. I just thought that this would be a good time to add some fuming to a figurine that you did just in clear. This would be the time. After you've usually finished the piece, you would just spray the whole color over it. Okay. We won't get into that this time, but we will get into fuming as time goes on. I know we will. And now, there you got one nice little snail.
It's looking pretty good. I do have one quick question though for you on the silver fuming. Whenever I try and pick up a piece of silver, it never sticks.
Yeah, you need to make sure it's a smaller piece of silver. You don't need a big chunk. You only need something about the size of a little bit larger than a grain of salt. Maybe actually a little bit bigger than that. Actually, with probably about 2 or 3 grains of salt together. It doesn't need to be a big clump. That's a misconception. You don't need a lot to get a lot of reaction going on. And it's just a matter of how you react. It reacts to the flame, and that's what's happening. Is it's sputtering and going into the glass itself. Now that can come into some nice galaxies later, but again, we're jumping the horse way before we start here.
All right.
Now, the next thing I thought we could do is an encasement of a color that you could use later on for the mushrooms that I've seen you do before, which turned out really cool. And it gives you, let's see if I've got an encasement handy to show off. And you think I can do that to save my life? No. Wait. No. Well, anyway, we're going to go with it anyway. Actually, here's one. I don't know if you can see this or not. This part of it is encased, where it's got a lot of clear color around the actual color that's going on. This makes great stems for your mushrooms and just encasements for like your, if you ever, once you get into doing jellyfish and stuff like that, some of the accoutrements that way. But take a color, any solid color you want, like a dark color, like green, red, blue, or silicate, white. I'm going to use for this video, I have some orange candy, it might be red, no, it's orange. This is what I'm going to be using.
Okay. Let's see. What do I
Now,
got
also,
here?
if you have some colors that bubble a lot, this is a good thing to do with them, to encase them. It just helps to sort of buffer what's happening on the glass itself away from away from the flame, so that it does not burn or bubble as easily. Okay. Now, the one that I'm going to be encasing is in my left hand. The one that I'm encasing with, or the clear glass that I'm encasing with, is probably about 8 mil, and it's a shot that I have.
Alright.
Okay?
Give me one moment. Gotta punty up here.
And everybody, Amber and Brian have been having fun in the chat room. Oh, Amber, don't say things like I hate. I love you too. Now, here we go, guys. You got a color going on?
Yep, I just gotta punty up quick. It's a little short.
That's fine. Put it on a punte. That way you're not burning your fingers. It's better to keep your fingers alive and well for many years to come. That works. Yeah. While you're doing that, instead of just letting gravity, learn to roll with both fingers together so that you're getting centered also, so that you're learning how to center the glass. Heat it up right at where you welded them together a little bit. And that helps you to center them sometimes. Just a little bit. You don't have to get it all melted and stuff, but there, you take it out and now spin it with both fingers so that you learn to center that piece of glass. And that'll come in handy way long down the road. See what I'm saying? That looks good. Very good. Okay? Now, just go. We're not forcing the clear glass onto this the colored glass. You're just drawing it onto the glass itself. Okay? That's basically it. Yes, Brian, what's going on?
Yes.
Let Amber talk on. No, I can't. All I can see is the ceiling. Let Amber chat if she wants to. Oh, we got somebody in the chat room, please. Hi, people. For all those that are watching, just be patient with me. My 2 children are in the chat room having fun. And Dave Gahhruuba is here with me. We're getting some glass lessons in. I think he's coming along quite nicely. Now, the idea is you're going to be heating not the color rod. You're going to be
I'm
heating.
just trying to even it out.
Yeah, just to heat it a little bit up. That's fine. But what you're going to be doing, have you seen any of my encasement videos at all?
I have not.
Okay.
I still gotta go through your videos, man.
There's a lot of them, and you'll get a few lessons out of that, just as is, now that you understand some of my thought patterns as I'm trying to explain it to you now. And this is good for me in that sometimes I want to say everybody's had 20,000 lessons and ready to go with what I'm learning or teaching them. But sometimes, yeah, you need to have that little extra oomph like I'm doing with you now, and it's a good thing. Okay? So here we go.
Yep.
Now, what you need to do is make sure that the glass rod that you're adding to is nice and molten, and then you touch to, and all you're doing is heating up the rod, not the colored rod. You're heating up the clear rod and just layering it little by little. And you don't have to do this very big at this time. Say like 1.5 inches, and then go down and heat up just to where you're pulling it off. And that's one line of the clear glass or encasement. Okay? Then you go right next to that line that you just did. Start at the top and work your way down again. And you're heating up just the clear rod, not the colored glass. At this point, you will be melting and stretching that colored rod and pulling it out and taking all that stress out that you're adding to it right now. Okay? But not right now. How many? Do you want the second row or first row? Third row now?
Yep, third row.
continue until it's all encased, until you come back to the clear that you started with. Okay?
Yep.
Now this comes in handy if you've got a hold of some green exotics or blue exotics, and then you swirl this color, this clear over it, and it really makes a swirly pattern like you saw in the skateboard that I did, and
Yep.
a couple of the other things. That swirl pattern is made by encasing an exotic glass from North Star, like blue exotic, green exotic, and so on.
All right.
Again, I'm not making this very long. Again, we're just doing demonstration purposes and getting an idea of what to do. Now, believe it or not, you just made a very rudimentary millie too, whether you realize it.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
Because you make a little bit of a shape, add clear or another color over it, and you've got a millie pattern going on. So that's something to think about down the road now. Now what you need to do is, sometimes what I do is after it's completely encased, is I turn and keep twisting. You can see me doing that now, just sort of twisting into the glass like so.
Yeah, I just got a little bit
And
left
keep it
down
round.
here.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little ahead of you. I'm excited. What can I say? If anybody has any questions, just shout them out in the chat room. I am listening. I know that there's not too many people watching, but that's okay. It's still a good thing, guys. Now, as we do that, there you go. Now, one of the reasons why I do this swirling pattern going on is, again, it's practice. And you're trying to keep it round after you do the twist and swirl. And once you pull it out, you'll see a nice little pattern going on. Believe me, it's pretty cool.
Yep.
Again, we're just heating up the encasement where you've added all the clear to the glass and twisting it. And you can push it slightly towards together. Not a lot. Not trying to really, make a bigger round, but just heat, twist, and push slightly together. And one rod in my left hand I usually keep mostly stationary and move it, just swirl it back and forth, and I twist with my right hand.
Alrighty.
You're going to continue that twist all the way down till you come to where you were making the nubs from the clear glass. And you want to seal that in as best you can. Now this is boro that I'm using this with, and if you're trying to do this with soft glass, sorry guys, it's not going to be the best and pretty. Okay?
That's actually turning out pretty sweet.
Okay? Now once you get it all the way down to the base and melt it in well, you start again at the tip. And now we're going to make I wouldn't say a heavy-duty stringer out of this. Try to make it the thickness of the punte that you've got in your left hand. And it can be a little bit thicker or a little bit thinner, but just about that thickness, okay? And you're going to learn to what I call heat and feed. You're going to be heating it up and pulling in one place, and you're heating it up in one place and pulling it, what you've already melted, in another.
Alright, I'm just about down to the bottom here.
And this is the result of your encasement.
Got a sweet spiral going on in this
Yes,
thing.
like a corkscrew pattern going on it, and that would make great for pendant. Um, you know, just what I've learned in my glass blowing is to think parallel. In other words, if you see an idea or a pattern going on in a piece of glass that you're doing now and say, hey, that would look great over here in this thing that I want to try, boom, try it and experiment. That's the whole idea. To tell you the truth, if it wasn't for a snail shell, I would not have learned to make my roses. I do a nice tight bud rose, and I will do a demo on that in the next little bit. That's looking good. You're doing really good at flowing and pulling it apart and not thin and thick, thin and thick. That's a good, even strand. You've really been working and practicing. Like you said, you've been at it for about four months, did you say?
About half a year, yep.
4 or 5 months? Yep. You can see that your practicing has paid off in the long run. And just keep pulling a little bit, a little bit. You're doing really well. Yeah, we got about another 10 to 15 minutes, actually almost 20 minutes left. And I wanted to go on and do a quick demo on, that's looking really good. Pull it slowly but surely. You're not trying, never force the glass. You've got a really good patient attitude towards it. I see that. You're not trying to get it done now. You're trying to get it done right, which is good. That's a really good thing. Just keep it going, and I noticed that you're really gentle with it. You're really trying to work with it. You're not trying to fight it. Never fight the glass. The glass will always win. Glass has a set of properties that it's going to follow. Just like if you pour, water has a set of properties. You pour it on a table, and it's going to pour down and find the lowest point and keep going. And that's its set of, that's properties it's going to do. It's going to always flow, and it's always going to go downward. The same thing with glass. It has a set of properties that it follows, and if you work within those parameters and don't try to force it, you can work wonders with it. But once you try to fight it, yeah, lights, it's getting darker in there.
Yeah.
Your light's a little bit different than where I'm at.
All right. Well, I've pretty much reached to the as far as
go
I
ahead
can
and
go.
pull up. Mine to be in there where you got that. Well, actually, mine I left on there.
Clear was a little uneven.
Now, if you don't twist that and just make a nice little stem-looking thing, and I should have done it that way to begin with, but oh well. I'm sorry. I thought you'd like that corkscrew deal. Yes, it's looking really good. I like that. And again, you're flowing the glass really well, and I can see a lot of good stuff going on. I will put pictures of everything that we have done, that I have done on the page also. But now, this is a plus. I'm going to go ahead and do what I call a bloom shroom. I should have done the encasement straight. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a really quick, now that you know how to do that. I'm using a pair of what I call wire cutters right here and nip off where we made the encasement. You don't have to make this very big, probably less than 1/4 of an inch. We'll encase some more glass real quick, and we'll be able to do a nice mushroom through there.
Okay, I just gotta find another piece of glass here.
Oh yeah, you're working down at the end. I'm sorry, you're fine. What'd you do? Get some short ends from somewhere?
Oh yeah, I got 4 pounds worth of short ends.
Hey, they work and they give you a nice set of color. But are you sure it was Glass Alchemy and not North Star?
I'm not too sure. I got a Glass Alchemy sample pack, and then I got 4 pounds worth of shorts.
Okay, a lot better shorts.
I'm gonna have to leave this chat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but I gotta take my shower.
Yeah, go. I love you. I'm
I'll
glad you got a
take it
chance
over.
to be in the
Okay,
room,
and we'll
guys.
take over.
Sounds good. I'm surprised you've been fighting over all this. Hey, great. I hit 103 subscriptions.
Nice.
Slowly but surely getting up there in the world. Another 3,000 or 4,000, and I know that people are listening to me, right?
Right.
That's okay. All I have to do is make sure that you're listening to me right now. That's the main thing. Okay? Again, this was not about everybody watching. This was about you getting a good lesson in here. And again, I'm doing a really quick encasement of, this time I'm not going to twist it. I should have done that the first time around so we can go right into the mushroom, but oh well.
Should I switch over my punty side so I got the corkscrew open?
Yeah,
This,
actually, you could use the corkscrew for the base or the stem of this mushroom if you like. It would probably give it a pretty interesting. Go ahead and use it. It'll work.
All right.
That way you don't have to do this encasement like I'm doing right now. Okay.
Yep.
Hi, Amber.
Hi, Daddy.
What do you do? Not let you get on the screen, huh?
I'm getting the boat because we have to do such a challenge.
Okay.
No.
Now I'm going to. We're just gonna have to do some Google Hangouts together, guys, and I think the class should be with the class. You guys are great.
Dad.
You know?
Did you know you had 303 subscribers?
Yes, I saw that you typed that in the room, and I'm sorry that I haven't been looking at too many things. Would you be able to get on the Google Hangouts? No. Yes, Eric, I'm sorry if it took me a while to read these things, and I should have been looking. I'm sorry I haven't. Eric, there is a chance that you could get out into not today, but you could probably get into one of the sessions if you like, Eric. We can talk about that. Send me a little bit of a note here, and I'll send you all the information that you need, okay?
Mom's picture day.
Get up with me on Facebook, Eric, if you're still watching. Oh, he's down. He's not here. Dang it. He might watch it later. Okay. Now, this is the cool thing.
Oh, there we go.
I'm going to make the top of this. Pick a color that you would like your mushroom to be. It could be any color at all. Non-encased, preferably. I say non-encased so that because everyone that I've been picking up, of course, is encased. Oh, this will be a cool looking mushroom. Now, what you do is you take where you just had the encasement going on. I want you to nip it so that it's a nice, fresh encased. I don't know if you can see that or not. Where I've nipped. I'll do it again real quick. Taking a pair of wire cutters, I'm going to heat up slightly just below, like if it's coming to a point at the end of the encasement that you just did. Heat up just a little bit beyond that, and nip it a little bit, and work it back and forth, and it usually breaks off quite nicely.
Alright, I got one of these things, so.
That'll work just as well as long as it nips the glass a nice edge. And the reason being is we're going to be making a mushroom out of this. And yes, you've already done mushrooms. I've seen that. But this is my specialty of mushroom. I call it a bloom shroom. Okay. Now take the solid color, not encased.
Yep.
And now what I do is I press that all the way to the edge of the whole encasement that you did so that it becomes nice and flat and round to the edge of that encasement. Do you understand what I'm saying? that the center is touching, and that's the stem of the mushroom, and what's the encasement is going to be outside of the mushroom. Do you understand what I'm saying? No.
I
Make
think
sure
so,
that
yeah.
the end is completely to the end of the clear, not just to the color encasement. Now, pick another color, like you want to make the spots like you did on your turtle, like a stringer.
And you just stick them together like you're attaching a
Yeah,
puntee?
no, you're not sticking that together. You're just going to touch, pull, touch, pull, touch, pull. You're making the dots, spots on the mushroom.
All right, I get you.
And then you're going to heat and round all of that in. Heat all of that in. Make the top of the mushroom. And I've been marbling this slightly so that it's looking like a bullet right now. See that or not? It's looking like a bullet. You can't really see the colors going on inside there, but that's what it's looking like. When you get to that
point, dots on the top parts up here, or nah?
Yeah. Wait. What have you? I mean that. Yeah, you can do that. But again, you pressed in a little bit too much on the top there. That's okay. Just round it off a little bit more, so it's more of a round ball on top, not just a disc.
Okay.
As you can see, it'll look more like a bullet, not a round disc.
Yep. Wait till they melt in.
Eric, yes, I see you said I'm here. I'm sorry I have been looking into the. You sent me a message. Good. Yes, you can be on one of my episodes. I'm here to help and give information out to everybody. And this is a learning experience for me, and I'm really excited. And this is only my second. Only my second one. We'll get there. And I'm glad you're watching, Eric, live. Thank you for being in the chat room. I kind of like that in the live chat room of Facebook, in that it will give you a live feed from that minute that you're chatting away, that you see the voice text underneath the video feed that you were doing, which is pretty cool. But neither here nor there. Now, you're going to need some more clear. Oh, wait, let's see what you got. You got a nice round or bullet going on?
Yep.
Okay. That'll do. Give me just a second. I'm going to pull the tip off of this thing, and we're going to add some clear to the top. But the trick is, we're not sealing. We're going to leave a little bit of a gap down near the base of the mushroom, not adding clear all the way around, in other words, a little bit of a gap, just clear over the top. It's kind of hard to explain, but you'll see what goes on after a little bit, okay?
All right.
What that does is sort of like blooms out the edge of your shroom. And you can watch the video that I have done on this to give you a little bit better of an idea of what I'm talking about.
Just wrapping it around then?
Right, just the top, but leave a little bit of a gap of the color at the bottom, not straight to the encasement, okay? You're sort of like just putting a little bulbous thing on the top.
Oh, alright.
You got a nice little bubble at the very top of my mushroom. That's okay. It'll all work itself out. I think we've been doing pretty good. We've actually gone through 3 different things so far.
Yep.
So, something to think about. And I'm sorry that I'm sort of giving you a condensed lesson, but you'll have plenty of time to sit there afterwards And that's the thing I liked. What you did was you actually sat there for a couple of hours and redid it over and over in your mind, and you got better at what you were doing, which is the cool thing. And
Yep.
I wish we had more and more time. I want to try to keep these about an hour long, so that everybody doesn't get too bored with what we're doing at this point.
Yeah. Alright, so I've got this big gather and clear at the end here.
At the end, again, you've got the gather, and then you've got a little bit of the bottom of the base of the color still showing, and then you've got the encasement just under that, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Let's see what you're doing here. After you take it out of the flame, we'll look at it. As it glows. Oh, my eyes! I can't see! You're fine. Now, the idea is now we're going to heat up that whole thing, and the end of the round will go further down, and it will make a nice round all the way around. I can't explain it any better than that, because you're also sort of, you got this in your right hand, and you're tilting it back like so, and you can see that band of color. I don't know if you can see it in your screen or not, but you can see that band of color where I have the nice little brim of the color of the top of the mushroom, or the sides of the mushroom. And what's going on now is it's rounding down in, and as it rounds down and comes together, it becomes even, it makes the edges of the mushroom. I think the stem I used was a little bit big, but it'll do out quite nicely in the long run. And this has been a teaching experience in the long run also.
So I'm just heating up the end of the clear glob that I just put on, right?
And you're tilting it back and letting it sort of draw into itself.
Yep.
Okay? And then, actually, you know what? That's looking pretty much like a neat, the way I did mine, the outside spools look very much like a jellyfish. Who knew, right? So again, that's that parallel thinking that I'm talking about. You look at the spool color patterns on. Now I'm going to put a veil on the top of this, and basically it's a touch, heat, and a nice seal going on. When I say a seal, it's the two pieces of glass coming together, not just touching together.
Yep. Make a veil then.
Yeah, make a veil at the top. Seal it together. A little bit of a loop. Do you have a graphite rod handy? Pencil type point going on, like so. Or a piece of just to sort of ream out the loop a little bit so that it's still a nice loop instead of an encased, just a sealed solid thing going on. Now, with your nippers, you'll figure out how far you want to go down with this thing, and with your nippers, you'll then nip off at the base, and then heat it up and seal it nice and round, and then you got a nice little mushroom pending on it.
Yeah, veils are a little tricky. I still gotta work on those things.
I will do a lesson on that too. I realize that that's a big point for a lot of people. That as you just heat up and put it to a piece, that's where it cracks and shatters at that point. I understand that. Again, it's all in the making sure it's all heated up evenly and cooling down evenly. I will be getting any of my guests that I have been teaching back on for more lessons. This isn't just a fly-by-night thing where people come in and I give them one lesson and I don't want to see them again. Dave, you're doing really good, and I expect that we're going to get about 4 or 5 good lessons in the next couple of weeks. I want to try to do this on a bi-weekly basis, not a bi-weekly, but yeah, twice a week basis. Bi-weekly means every other week, but I want to try to do it twice a week, just to see if I can keep up the pace and teach as many people as I can, and see what, put it up the flagpole and see who's loose. At this point, it's just Eric, but that's a good thing, and one person at a time, right?
Yep, I hear ya.
I'm glad you were able to watch. Like I said, this from Renee's class led to you watching and getting a little bit of a lesson in. And I'm going to now switch over my camera angle to my face view and do a shot. There we are. And I'll still watch you. You keep talking. You keep working. Don't think. Oh yeah. Again, it's going to be a little. I wouldn't say. It's going to be a little chaotic this first time.
Yeah.
And I'm giving you a direction. A lot of the lessons that I've been giving online are a direction to go in. These are not exact. You get on and you see some glass blowers. They'll make this fine, intricate piece of glass, and boom. And yes, they don't expect anybody to reproduce it. But some of the things I'm trying to teach are, yes, nobody can do it like I can, but I think people can do it in a direction that's close, and that they can make something out of it too. And yeah, it looks like that loop's working out real good. I know they're a little bit hard to do. I'll give you I will work on a bail lesson at the same time. Now, go ahead a little bit lower and dip it off about a quarter of an inch below the base of the mushroom. And I think this is going to be more like a nice color pattern blob, just like mine turned out. It didn't turn out like a mushroom. It turned out like a. I will make some pictures of what I have done tonight. It sort of looks like a mushroom top to a tornado bottom.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it. Mine turned out pretty good too. Yeah, just about a quarter of an inch, and then heat up to a cold well. And once you dip it off, make sure it's going to drop not into the water, but.
Yeah. I don't have any flat surfaces on here. I've got like a graded gate type deal that I'm working on.
Okay. You'll get the marbler is actually the graphite. Yeah, cold weld there. That's good. Now you can just heat up below and just pull it off and round it in. That'll be good instead of using the nippers. So go down about a quarter of an inch. I find that I'm yelling, and I need to learn that people can hear me, and I don't need to yell. But
I'm
really excited.
Totally fine.
I know. I'm noticing it in my voice and a little bit of strain going on. It's terrible. You've got a pretty face there, Amber. I've been noticing you. I'm sorry I haven't been saying much. Again, this lesson is for David at this point. You know that.
I know.
And I'm glad that you have a chance to be in on the conversation. Yep. Now round it all into a nice little ovalish type ball, and you can call that quits at this point. And we're looking at 9. Where'd the hour go? I'm not going to hang out. I'm not going to shut the broadcast down quite yet. We're going to give some direction, and we'll let you finish what you're working on. Okay.
Just want to be rounded out then?
Yeah, just round it off into a nice. Do you have a marble mold or anything that's like that?
Yes.
Good. You can.
Oh. And there it went.
Right. Take your tweezers, pick it up, and keep going with it. That's the way life is. You've seen me do that on some of my shows where I go, whoops. Don't try to pick it up with your fingers. That's the main thing. Remember, it's always hot. Hey, at least it bounced. It didn't shatter, or did it shatter? Did it break in half? Oh, you can't hear me. You have to take the earphones off. Did it break in half?
Yeah, I forgot to reheat.
Sorry about that, folks. Well, again, this was just a direction to go in, and you will get better. And the more, see, what we're doing now is basically, these are your baby steps. And as a baby learns to step, he has to concentrate on everything that he's doing, from balance to how far his foot has to go, to how much he has to, place down on that foot, and then how much he has to calculate before he can lift the next foot up so he doesn't fall over. You're actually thinking out loud in your mind each one of these steps as you're doing these things right now. And you've got to realize that that's what these are, is your baby steps. And as you get better, it becomes not having to think, I have to get up and walk across the room. You're already getting up and walking across the room. And that's the same thing with the glass. I'm going to make a mushroom. You already know the steps that you have to do to get to make a mushroom. All you have to do is just go through each one of those steps, and it becomes second nature. And that's a lot of muscle memory that you're going to be picking up step by step. And just like learning to talk also, baby's first words are not, complete sentences like, oh, come on, man, I can't stand this. I got to go and do this thing now. They actually say, gaga, blah, 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 blah. They're actually trying to make noises so that they understand that they can make noises. And then they get better at their articulation. That's the same thing with class. You've got a good patient attitude. I like your attitude. And again, you're not trying to force the class. You're flowing it really well. That's what I like about it. And I also see that there's a lot of potential there. I expect to see some examples of some of the things that we've done tonight in a little bit better pattern. The encasement for the clear, over the clear, is going to be looking something like, let me get it back to my other camera shot angle here.
Yeah.
Okay, the encasement, you can see up here how much clear is around that. Now this is a thinner one, but what you want to do for your mushrooms is probably just, this is about 1/8 of an inch. You probably want to do a little bit between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch for the color, and then the clear over can be close to 1/2 inch. You understand?
Yep.
And then from there, you add a color straight to the top. And matter of fact, I'm going to do one more quick mushroom. Now, you just stand there and you just sit there and watch. And I'm going to do
it sounds good.
So that you can see me do it. And I'm not having to concentrate on you either, and it's getting the job done. Okay? I'm going to use this one. It's going to come out a little bit smaller, but it's going to do the job quite nicely. I'm going to use the same basic color for the top that I did before. Okay? This is coming out to a little bit of a point, so I'm going to nip that off. So, now I'm sort of spinning it a little bit, nipping a little bit, spinning a little bit until it finally breaks off. That's what you can do to get a nice clean break sometimes with just a pair of wire cutters. Who knew, right?
Yeah, you don't always need expensive glass tools.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the way I have been all of my most of my adult glass blowing life. I didn't get this L marker that's on top of my torch until last year when one of what's that? You gotta go? Okay. Anyway, now again, you can see I'm putting that top of the mushroom all the way out to the outer edge of the clear encasement, okay?
Yep.
Let it cool down a little bit. And now it looks like most of the mushrooms that you see people do, which is sort of like that pushed in, round over look, okay? Now I'm going to add the green dots like I did the last time, just a touch full. You're just adding a quick heat up the green and touch it to and pull it away real quick, and it pulls off. And it makes little nice small dots. Okay?
For sure. Yep.
I know I make it look easy, but I've been doing this for a while, okay? I heard that sort of. But you have the capabilities of learning these things. See, you have two things that I tell people, that if you have a little bit of a math background and a little bit of artistic ideas in mind, you'll be a pretty good, and science. Science helps because you're doing basic physics, because you're manipulating glass, and you're doing calculations time and time again in your head, making sure that the glass gets heated up to a certain temperature, and you'll see it in the glass when you say, okay, it's time to put it together. And you'll do that time and time again, and you'll learn how to manipulate the glass to your advantage, not to your disadvantage. Another thing that I forgot to do on that last mushroom, and I was just so excited that I didn't think about it, but I made the nice round blob on the top, and I made it to where there was a little bit of a gap between the one clear and the encasement at the bottom. But I forgot to do one more thing, which was add a little bit more clear to the bottom around the encasement to give it more space. But you got to make sure that you put that below the color. The brim of the color is very important to have so that you'll get that bloom shroom look going on. Okay? And now that I've added the two, I'm going to heat it up, and you'll see a nice round blob at the bottom, a nice round blob at the top. I'm going to, well, no, it's going to be too much of a glare. But you'll see them start to come together. And as it comes together, it's going to make one nice round. And as it rounds, okay.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, guys. I appreciate you and I love you. Okay.
Bye.
You come together, and you see that as it's coming together, you'll see the mushroom rim start to bloom outward. You see that?
Yep.
Now, that's a mushroom. Looks like there was a little bit of air encased in the color encasement, but it was still a little bit. Now, with one of the things that I do that makes it a little easier on the bails, a simple bail as it were, or a simple loop, is if you can't curve it over and seal it back into itself, sometimes the best thing to do is touch and pull out here and make a nice bump and let it go so that you've already got, and then go to the other side, sort of like the antenna to the snail, but now you're going to connect those two together a little bit further out, and then you've already got nice two welds onto the base of the piece that you're working on, and then just seal those together, and there you got your loop.
All right, I have never actually seen it done that way. That's pretty good.
Sometimes simplicity, and again, it's learning to not stress out the glass as much as possible. Now I'm going to go to the base of this mushroom, as we're doing, and I'm going to heat and do the same thing that I did when I nipped it off at the top. I'm sort of nipping a little, spinning a little, nipping, spinning and nipping, and finally it'll drop off like that. Now I'm going to do a cold weld here at the top. Or you can do exactly what you did, which is do a cold weld and pull it out, but it'll give sort of a swirl pattern instead of a nice stem base to the mushroom.
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm going to heat that up, round that off on the bottom. And it's very important, especially if you make a nice round piece like this, you can heat it all up again and keep it nice and warm and round it all together. And if you wanted to make a nice little marble out of that, that'd make a nice mushroom marble. Let it cool a little bit so you guys can see what's going on here. The glow was so much, it's so interesting. There you go. And again, I will put pictures of this on Facebook so that people can see what's going on here. And you can sort of see the nice rounded over bloom shroom. With that, I think we're going to call it quits for the night. And when I hang up or when I stop the live broadcast, we can sit here and chat for just a little bit longer. So don't go away there, Dave.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, thank you people for being out there, and I appreciate people watching. It may not have been the biggest of audiences, but I'm glad that they were out there, and more people will see this as the weeks progress. And if you're interested in doing a glass blowing lesson with me, get up with me. I'm gonna I should so that people can see my face again. Stupid me. There we are. Just get up with me on Facebook or Instagram, and we can go from there. Thank you, everyone, and as I say always at the end of my shows, enjoy your day.